Good. So thank you everybody for joining. It is 7 p.m. It is the live Vibe Talks, and tonight we have the lovely Lisa from Expertbits. So thank you very much, Lisa, for joining us tonight. I think for me, I think bitting is really important. If you get it right, it can be game changing, and I think a lot of people get it wrong. So I think it's just good to have a little bit of a chat through. So just give us a little bit of intro to your company, Expertbits, how it came about, and your vision that you see.
So thank you very much for asking me tonight. How did Expertbits come about? So we was going out doing quite a lot of bitting all over the country really, and you know, this is set price for the bitting consultation, and then we tell people we deal with every sort of type of rider as well, from happy hackers to your Olympic level riders. And we was going out doing the bitting, and we say to people, oh, and this is the cost of the bit. They go, whoa, can't really afford that. And which, you know, I actually think is perfectly understandable. So they paid the consultation, then they had the price a bit on top, and it was just like, whoa, no. So Matt's bitted for years, and my background is in metals. So I was like, why don't we come up with our own brand that makes bitting more affordable to everybody? So then this way, you know, when we recommend a bit to somebody and we say to them, oh, that's say £35 that bit, oh yeah, that's a massive difference. And then that horse is then comfortable, the person's got a good deal on the bit, they've got a quality product at an affordable price. And that was really how it started. That was the idea.
I think that's a massive thing, isn't it? When you get the bit in, is that you can get people come out, but then the bit is £100+ after that, and it's you know, making that decision. So definitely, I think you've cornered the market there, where it's
especially if you need two. What if you need one for dressage and then one for cross country?
Yeah,
you know, we'd rather than saying, I don't know, £230 a bit, you're probably looking with ours at, you know, £65, £70.
And how are you finding it then? How are you finding the market in bitting? Because it seems to have gone crazy for you at the moment.
Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. It's been fantastic. Everybody is so nice to deal with. We're giving out loads of advice. People are taking advice. We're also getting loads of feedback as well, which we love. You know, we get emails, messages, videos. Look at my horse, it's amazing, so happy about it, look how it's going, it's changed. And it's so nice to hear that, you know, just, you know, the advice we're giving is working. I think it's really busy out there. There's lots of people realizing that they, you know, they can make a difference by sometimes just a small change makes a massive difference. And we're trying to educate people as to why, I don't know if you noticed that on the Instagram post that we're doing, as to why certain bits work for certain horses.
Yeah,
so
I see that.
Education is key as well.
Yeah, do you have like a Top Tip Tuesday or something like that? I see.
Yeah, we had one the other day. Top Tip Tuesday the other day was, if you've got your horse in a fixed cheek, like a hanging cheek, and you're going to go to a loose ring, you need to size up by 1/4 of an inch. And that is why all our bits, or the majority, apart from the Expert Blue, but they will be changed into 1/4 inch increments, why all our bits are sized up in 1/4 inch increments. Yeah, but most people just do 1/2 inch increments. But 1/2 inch is quite a big difference.
Yeah.
You know, 5 inch to a 5.5 inch bit is a big old difference. So that was why we decided to do ours in 1/4 inch increments.
It's a good idea. Absolutely great idea. So talk me through the bits then. Talk me through the different types of bits that you've got.
So we have our first range was our Comfy Mouth range, which is a really nice shape bit, really good for horses with big tongues who need some sort of tongue relief, bar relief. It's designed for them sort of horses. So, and we do it in quite a lot of cheap pieces. So our most popular is the loose ring, probably then the universal. But also with our universal, we send out a little piece of paper like that shows with pictures how many ways the universal can be used. Because we do see a few in upside down. So, which, you know, everybody's human, people make mistakes. So we send that out as well to, you know, self-explanatory self-help guide really to the universal. we're getting a loop ring, a hanging cheek, and a pelham. And I feel like I forgot something. I don't think I have. And a pelham. And then our next range we brought out, which has been incredibly popular, was the comfy barrel, which I think is what you ride in. So in that, we've got the loose ring, we've got the Expertbits, we've got a universal again. Oh, what else have we got? This is really bad, isn't it? But we have got 3 new cheap pieces coming out in that bit. So they should be here in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. We've got a loop ring coming out in it, a pelham, and a full cheek. Because this is the feedback we've been getting that people are wanting.
Right. Okay. So that's good. So you kind of do like a basic range, and then people will feed you ideas as to what they want.
Yeah. We need to make sure it's going to sell first of all. We need feedback on that bit. We send our sample bits out to our sponsored riders, or myself. I'll give it a go, and we'll put them in our own horses and see how they go. Because you're your own best critic, aren't you? Really?
Yeah.
And then the blue, we've got Expert Blue range. There's going to be some more cheap pieces added to the Expert Blue range. And there is a new range coming out, which should be here, I think, in 2 to 3 weeks, which is a ported range.
Oh, right, okay. Like that, isn't it?
Yeah. And then we've got one more to come. And it's only going to be the loose ring as this one initially. It's the shape of the comfy mouth, but it's going to be in titanium. So an affordable titanium bit. So it's so light. It's 3 times lighter than stainless steel bits.
What's the reason for that then? Does that make it comfy for the horse? Or?
Some horses don't like to feel the bit in the mouth that much. And it's for horses that doesn't like that much the feeling of the bit in the mouth, that it's so light. And that's been on trial with somebody who said it's fantastic. So that's only initially going to come out in a loose string.
Mm-hmm.
And then
just to see how it goes.
Yeah, see how it's accepted, see what people think of it. We rate our customers so highly on the feedback that they give us. We're nothing without our customers, and the feedback they give us is so important to us that we listen to every piece of feedback that we get.
Mm-hmm. And you've had such good feedback. Everything I see on social media is just everybody so happy with the bits. Like myself, my horses have gone so much better since they've just been more comfortable in the mouth, I think. And
we gave you the advice, didn't we? I think.
You what? Sorry.
I think we gave you the advice, didn't we, over Messenger?
Yeah. So I'd seen it on Wimpy Adventures, which is Vic Brandt, and she just said how she spoke to you guys. So I thought, I'll give it a go. I had 2 thoroughbreds that have a very high head carriage, and they was in like it's like a comfy mouth, I think, but quite thick. It was quite a thick.
Yeah,
mouth.
with a lozenge in the middle of it.
Yes, that was it. And I think it was Matt that came back with some advice in regards to the thoroughbreds that a thinner mouthpiece is better for them. And absolutely, like the changes, like I said, it's not perfect because they still need schooling, but the change in just their happiness in their mouth. So Reg had a particular problem where he would put his head up, like there's like a funny snatching
like an aversion, like that. Like every time you took contact, he'd put his head up.
Yeah. And that's gone. That as he did it, as he had a little bit. My instructor kept saying he's waiting for it. When you
they're anticipating the pain, aren't they? Yeah. And it will take a little bit of time to get over that.
Yeah, he's done that. He's absolutely perfect with it now. So the dressage test we did last weekend was
an amazing score, didn't you, last weekend?
You know what? We've had some great scores. Can't get around King Cross Country.
We'll sort that.
We'll sort that in a minute. But yeah, the dressage scores have come massively. I reckon at the moment we're probably 4 to 6 points better than what we were last season. So yeah, he's just more comfier. So it's interesting that the mouthpiece can make just such a difference.
Massive difference. So before, his palate must be so low, and when you're taking that contact, that lozenge is irritating it. Mm-hmm. So now we've taken away the irritation, which the barrel doesn't, and also the shape of the bit suits the conformation of his mouth really well. He doesn't have much room in there. I mean, you probably had a really good look. There's very, very little room in there by the time you got his palate and his tongue. So that bit's only 10 mil in diameter as well. So it really suits the fact that it makes the most of what little room there is. Mm-hmm. And again, it's about educating people this, and this is what we put out all the time Instagram posts of this bit, this is what a lower palate looks like. We put a video out the other week. We're always asking customers, can we take pictures of your horse's mouths? You know, and everyone says, yeah, of course you can. And that's great. And we're starting to use these pictures now and show up. Because if somebody said to me, you know, I don't know, or you, do you know what a lower palate looks like in your horse? Most people go, no. But why would you know? Why would you know? So why don't we try and tell people and show people what a lower palate looks like?
Yeah, definitely. It's education, isn't it? And the more education you have, the better it is for all parties. What is the difference then between the main difference between a loose ring side fixed side piece? Why do some horses just prefer?
So the loose ring enables them to place it in the mouth where they're most comfortable. Where say you went to a hanging cheek, the weight of the bit is actually suspended by the cheek pieces, and it's much stiller in the mouth. Whereas, like I say, a loose ring, the horse can move it, they can put it where they're most comfortable. Hanging cheek, it doesn't move once it's in there really, but there's no weight. They can't feel the weight of the bit either. And then the egg butt's halfway between the two.
Right. If
that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. So what's the difference then in we talk about mouthpieces, the barrel and the lozenge?
So the lozenge, I should have brought some in with me. I haven't got them. Have I got any here? I haven't got any here. I wish I did. Do you want me to run and go get two?
Go and run. Just, yeah.
You just talk 2 minutes. I'll be back.
So, that's high stakes.
For yourself.
If anybody's got any questions as well, if you want to pop them in the question box, we'll get through to them shortly. Thanks, Megan. I've got your question. I will ask it as well.
Crikey, I'm out of breath now.
She steps.
Oh, sorry about that. I didn't prepare very well, did I? So the comfy mouth, so it's a used bit. They're normally really nice and shiny, but this one I got to was a used one. So I do apologise. And as you can see there, that gives that shape for the tongue. For a horse that's got a large tongue, it moves up and down, but it's got that shape, that really nice shape there to give the tongue relief. But that, as you can imagine, is going to knock and irritate a palate. I mean, can you imagine what a single joint does?
Yeah.
But this is the barrel.
Yeah.
That's the difference. So that's fixed. Look, it's not going to irritate that palate of the sensitive thoroughbred, really, or any horse with a low palate. Does have the independent side movement as well to give a more definite signal down each rim. But it once it's there, it's there. And yes, they can move that, but that rolls. That isn't gonna. Well, that's just gonna knock and knock and knock. And so in the end, it goes. That's why when you take contact,
yeah,
like
you constantly just be doing this kind of uphill like head movement, which is gone now. He doesn't do it at all, and that's with the comfy barrel. I think the thinner mouthpiece helped massively as well, because he's quite, like you said, quite a small mouth, so
very little room in his mouth. I suppose if you part his lips and have a look, there'll be very little room for a bit to actually go in there.
Yeah. As single jointed more or less a thing of the past now, do you reckon?
No, it isn't something we'd stock. I don't see it as a place in our range. But because obviously if you put a single joint in with a fat tongue, I can't show because it's not going to do it because we don't have them, but it squeezes. So a single joint, so if you've got a low palate, it'll press it and go into it. If you have the fat tongue, it'll squeeze all that fat tongue together. People do still like them, and everyone's got a reason for using whatever they use, And if we get asked to go out, we'll try and explain as to why we think another bit may be more suitable. But you know, everyone has their own reasoning for using what they use, and it's not for us to say to people, don't use that, that's not right. It's, you know, people come to us asking for advice, we will give our honest opinion and advice of what we think is more comfortable for the horse. But I would never want to sort of say to them, don't use that bit, that's not right, because I don't ride that horse, I don't know how it feels. You know, they're the rider, they've got to tell me if there's a problem, what they're feeling.
So how do you get people coming up and asking you about brakes? Obviously, so
yeah.
There is, I don't have that issue. I did, but funnily enough, we've used a comfy barrel and we don't have that issue anymore.
So
he's very.
Yeah, so you've got him now, and we had this conversation earlier, didn't we? That, you know, people think you need to. My horse is strong, I'm going to bit up. That's not necessarily the reason. They're often strong because they're trying to evade the pressure. So they're either burying their head, or they're putting their head up, grabbing the bit and running, because they're trying to get away from a pressure that they don't like. But often we find, as you found yourself, when we get them comfy actually in the mouth, we don't need to bit up on the cheek piece. There's always an exception to that rule.
Yeah.
There always will be. There's always, you know, like the whizzy ponies that want to jump and the rider needs to be able to hold them. And there's always those horses who are going to be more keen, a bit stronger. But if they're comfy in the mouth, they should still be more respectful. And you shouldn't need quite as many gadgets. But I mean, you go cross country in this, don't you?
Yeah.
What did you use cross country in?
I used to use a universal before, with a lozenge in the middle, and that's just because he used to take hold cross country and just run through it. So I had very little brakes.
And I remember, so from a universal to that, it just shows that when they're comfy in the mouth, they've got more respect for that bit.
Yeah, it changed massively.
What's
so
village, which people's little houses are?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll just mute.
So I can't hear.
It's all right. You let me know. So yeah, I'd originally come to you guys wanting two bits. I wanted one for cross country and I wanted one for dressage. And you came back to me and said, try this first, then we'll talk about bitting up if we need to. And it was never needed. I took him cross country and he was amazing. He was so responsive. So yeah, you've gone from quite a strong bit to a very, it was a loose ring.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine yourself though, if you're doing cross country and you've got something in your mouth that's really uncomfortable, somebody's pulling against you, you're going to pull against that pressure to try and get away from it. But if you're comfy, as a person, if you're comfy with something, you're going to listen a lot more, aren't you?
Definitely it works, 100%. I would never have thought it, but yeah, I'd never need another one. And like I say, I bought one for Mo as well because he's exactly the same as his brother, so I was kind of like, and he loves it. So
is he full brother to him?
He's half brother, so they have the same mother, different dads. Mo's like he's 17 hands and quite stocky, where Reg is like a pony with long legs. He's quite little. Bless him. Got a good jump. That's how we keep going. So what are the most common issues then with horses and bitting?
Mainly, like you say, about being strong. Not going around, the heads in the air. They're the two main ones. My horse is strong and can't stop it. My horse is going around with his head in the air. My horse isn't taking a constant contact. And sometimes, like I say, going back to these, like with the thoroughbred type horses, we generally find it's because it's something pressing on the palate. So up, every time you take contact, up. We generally find if they're strong, it's more of the cob types or the Irish draft type, and they're in a bit that's normally squeezing them, so squeezing that fat tongue and not giving any bar relief. So again, you know yourself, if somebody squeezed my tongue, I think I'd run. So if we can make them comfortable in that mouth, I mean, we're always gonna have occasions where they say, look, we need a little bit of pole pressure. Well, that's great. So we tried the loose ring, they're still a little bit strong, but let's not go let's try a loop ring first of all.
Yeah.
See how that works. So that will give you a little bit of pole pressure. And we tend to go up in stages. And also if we're going out to bit a horse, we would try, and we probably said this to you, we'll try and change one thing first, either the cheek piece or the mouthpiece. Because if you change both, how do you know what's working?
Okay.
You don't know what's worked. And then it's like a process of elimination then. So, okay, they've gone slightly better in that mouthpiece than what they were before. But can we improve it if we change the cheek piece? So we know the mouthpiece is right. So can we improve how they're going by changing that cheek piece and making them more comfortable?
It's fascinating. I think it's just fascinating how you can just change your mouthpiece and it changes the whole way that your horse goes. And like I say, there's a schooling element. It's not a magic fix, is it?
No.
You're not going to get instant contact and things like that.
No. There's people, I can't stop them spooking. Can't do that.
There is still an element that you do have to do a bit of training as well. It's not like we're promising that we're going to get.
It's not magic. But we can help. And our aim is to make as many horses as comfortable as we can, so at an affordable price. Because horses are expensive enough to look after as it is. You know.
Tell about it. Yeah, I'm thinking about the dark web for selling my kidney at some point.
You know, entry fees, how expensive are they? So if we can make horses, and you know, people, I can't afford it, but that's $34.99. And the clean one of these, which this isn't, is $29.99. And it's about, and our advice over the messenger and email is free. And over the phone's free. We do come out and do bitting clinics, bitting consultations. They last about an hour. And we explain to people why we're changing the bit. And we don't want to make it like a dark art while we're there. We want you to understand why we're choosing what we're choosing, why we think it's going to work, and why it works for your horse or your horse's mouth. So rather than, they put this in, but I don't know why they put it in. Well, this is why we're putting it in. And this is why we're going to try this one, because this should happen. But, you know, we're really reasonable for that as well. You know, we don't charge the earth, you know, to come and bit your horse. Anyway, between, you know, £40 and £60 normally, depending upon how far. Obviously, we've got to put some travelling time into it, and that's where the price difference comes in, the travelling time. But a lot of it is about the education that we're trying to do on Instagram as well, and Facebook. That, you know, we're trying to help people understand why the horse might hate that lozenge that's in its mouth when it looks quite nice. I mean, you would think, you know, what is wrong with that in your thoroughbred? But then when we explain why it doesn't like it, then it starts to make more sense. And we explain why your horse with a big fat tongue likes that bit, because it is that shape, it flares out, it gives bar relief, it gives tongue relief. And, you know, a horse's tongue has 12 muscles in it. And I know somebody's pressing me in my muscle, any one of my muscles, I'll be going, ow, get off me, that hurts. And them putting there, they can't tell us it hurts, they can't talk to us, but they tell us in other ways, like your horse was going around with his head in the air. That's why I say, I don't like this. And they're always trying to tell us something, and it's just about listening, which, you know, a lot of people do. People are contacting and saying, no, I just want the best for my horse, and that's so lovely to hear, because I think that's all anybody wants, don't they? The best. The best for my horse.
Yeah, I think anybody in the equestrian community, the horse is here, and then there's everything else.
They're way down.
They're way down here somewhere. Like, we'll get to me at some point when I'm, you know, the horse is always the priority. That's
we often joke, how many physio sessions does your horse have?
Mine, he's on a regular schedule for physio.
How many do you have?
Never had one in my life.
That's point proved, isn't it?
Yeah, I was joking the other day because he's lacking energy, so we've got feed bill and everything else. I got the feed bill at £108 and I was eating beans when I got in. And I'm like, there's something wrong here. In life, I've got something wrong here. The horse comes first. So yeah,
he's on steak. You're on beans.
He's on the top ordering speciality, and Shell's on beans because that's all I can afford. But yeah, so we put our horses massively at the forefront. So I think it's nice that we can make our horses comfortable and it doesn't cost the earth, is what I liked as well. I think it's just, like I say, it's blown up on social media. You've got Laura Collick's support, which, come on. How did you get that? So can I
We was asked if we would like to speak to her, which of course we said yes, we would love to speak to her. We sent some bits and she posted on Instagram that she got her best ever international dressage score on Mr. Bass in that bit. And yeah, pardon?
That's good PR for you.
Oh, amazing. She rode the carpo around Bicton, around the cross country, and the show jumping in it. Not in that one, she rode in the loopering, but that Mouthpiece. We've got some amazing brand ambassadors who are also supportive. So we have Jay Hallam, the show jumper. Jay has been supportive from day one. He's been absolutely fantastic. He gives us really good feedback. Really, really nice guy. We have Sam Jimerson, who is a local event rider who's really good. We go up to Sam's on a regular basis, have a chat with her about the bits and what she feels is working, how they're going for her. We have Matt Render, who is a lovely guy. He's a show jumper. You may have seen the video of him on Instagram doing all the little cavaletti poses and a massive jump at the end. Yeah, Matt's lovely. He is also a RDA instructor. He is, two of my sons have problems with the legs. They're extremely hypermobile. And Matt has at points taught both of them too as well at RDA. And that's how we've got involved with the RDA as well. And then we have Emma Littlewood as well, who's a dressage rider locally to us. Really, really lovely lady, doing really well. And she's, thrilled with the bits. And we went out and bitted her horses, but not so long back. So brilliant. We've got an amazing bunch of, we've had influencers such as yourself, such as Wimpy Eventer, big brands such as Diary of a Dun, Georgia, who come up.
Oh, Georgia the other day.
Yeah.
Done a reel with, which I thought was lovely, to be honest.
Oh, it was amazing. The worst thing is I'd just been bitten all day. Then I came in, I was like, oh my Lord, I look so rough. Drop the box.
That's all you need to do. It's perfect.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, can we sort of suck me in a bit or something?
I used to get a bit like, oh, I look like that now. I'm not worried now. I'm not worried. Right, we've got a few questions coming in, so I shall just open my chat. So we've got one from Megan, and it said, it took me ages to figure it out, but my pony only likes bits with a single joint in them. Do you have any idea why this might be?
So is it a lozenge joint, the mean? So if it's a lozenge.
Single joint, she says. So
like that.
Cracker, yeah.
It depends what type the pony is, I suppose what's been ridden in previously, what shape its tongue is, why it would like just a single joint. Without seeing the pony, it's very difficult. I'm not too sure on why it would like just a single joint.
She's going to, Megan, absolutely, come off mute. She's going to talk to you.
So my pony Rocky, I've had him, God, next Monday, I've had him 13 years.
Right.
We rode him in various different bits to begin with. Started off just with snaffles, but it was a case if he did get strong, he wasn't trying to evade the bit at all. And then found out he absolutely adored the Dutch gag.
Yeah.
And then I tried him in a Kimblewick for a while and found he didn't actually like that as much as the Dutch gag.
Yeah.
And then, even when I've tried riding him in a double bridle, he looks absolutely gorgeous in it, but he doesn't like it because the Weymouth obviously has a port, not a joint.
Yeah.
He's not the stockiest of ponies, but he is a more native type. I wouldn't know if his tongue was particularly thick or not. But yeah, he just
tried him with a lozenge. Have you ever tried him with a lozenge like that?
I think he did once and he didn't like it. I mean, he's perfectly happy in the bit he's got. I'm not looking to change it. I'm just curious as to why he might prefer a single joint over literally anything else. Maybe
the pressure that he likes, which most of them, there's always exceptions to the rule. And like I said to you before, Michelle, that the lozenge, the single joint, each horse has a reason why it likes it. And without seeing them, it can be really difficult to work out why. But what I am going to do when I come off this, I'm going to ask Matt, can you message us later on, DM us?
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll have a chat with Matt, because I can't think of a reason, unless he actually likes the pressure and likes that contact. Maybe it's parts, palate's really high, and maybe it doesn't have too much of a fat tongue. So if you DM us this after this, I'll have a chat with Matt and we'll get back to you. The reasons why we think.
Yeah, it might be the pressure thing, because I found, but obviously I can do like the odd dressage test just in a jointed Egbert.
Yeah.
And he's quite interesting, because once I've got him in that contact, his head does not budge whatsoever. But if I was
So
to go
it
into
might be the
given
constant
the
pressure.
rein, his head goes.
Right. So it may be the pressure that he likes then. But I am just going to check this out with Matt. 2 heads are always better than 1. And we'll get back to you, definitely, on that.
I mean, he is an oddball. He likes to be different to everyone else.
Don't we all at times?
I've got a chestnut mare that's like that. I've had her many years and she's very difficult.
I mean, I can relate to chestnut mare because I am ginger. So.
Yeah, she's 27, still going very strong at the moment. So
Has the attitude of a chestnut mare.
mine has. Yeah, she's never. Somebody said to me, "Oh, she'll calm down at 20." No, she's still as sassy as she always has been.
Well, you've gone for geldings this time round.
That's the reason.
Yeah.
She's the reason why I have
Yeah.
gelded. Definitely.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, Megan.
But no, Megan, definitely DM us, and we'll have a chat about that and get back to you about that one.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've got one from Kelly. She said, my cob cross mare used to really hang on my hands and be very strong jumping. Previously in an Egbert single jointed snaffle. I had a bit in person out, but she recommended something with a lot of metal work on the outside of her mouth and a curb chain, which just looked terrifying to me, so I didn't purchase it. But she recommended the hanging cheek Waterford, which my mare has been going nicely in, and she now carries herself rather than hanging on me. I am conscious that the Waterford is quite strong and also not dressage legal. Would any of your bits help with a horse that hangs and is strong but are dressage legal?
If she's got a fat tongue, yes. And the Waterford, obviously, they can't hang on the Waterford because the joints make it impossible. But a hanging cheek means a horse can normally lean on. So most hanging cheeks horses can lean on. Maybe she likes that contact, but if she's leaning, I would wonder why. Maybe I do think something like this, if she's got a fat tongue, that we give her some movement and see what she can do without it being single jointed. I do think something like that would really, really help her. The fact that it's got the lozenge in the middle, so it's really difficult to do sometimes because you need to keep playing the question over in your head. Oh, sorry, apologies. But yeah, I mean, any fixed cheek, like a hanging cheek or an Egbert, they can lean on. Mm-hmm. So I would, if they has a tendency to hang and lean, which is what it sounds like, I would take her off and away from a fixed cheek and put her in a loose ring and see if that makes a difference first of all. And then obviously once you've got her in this is a dressage legal mouthpiece. But yeah, anything that's fixed, obviously if it's fixed there, they can lean.
That makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense to me. The Waterford has been quite popular, hasn't it, with strong horses to stop. Is that the one that looks like a caterpillar? It's got like joints in, hasn't it, to stop it? But seeing that with Reg, he used to lean and was very strong cross country, and now he doesn't lean at all in the loose ring. So I don't know.
Yeah, I would maybe come off the hanging cheek first of all and go into a loose ring, see if you can stop that leaning. Because that, as soon as they lean, they're heavy in your hand.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah, that's fine. I hope that's all right for you, Kelly. Amy Meacham. Is that the Amy Meacham, my name? You recommended a universal comfy mouth for my mare, which is great for the XC. However, for show jumping, it's too much, even on top ring. Yet my NS is not enough. Not sure where to go from there.
I would then maybe go to a loop ring. So a loop ring is your next one up from the loose ring, but one down from the universal. So it's still giving you some pole pressure, but not as much pole pressure as what the universal will give you. So you're meeting in the middle there.
Hope that's okay, Amy. It is Amy Battle. Sorry, it's Amy Battle. I know her. She's one of my buddies. Okay, so Elizabeth Jeffers, my big boy is in a full cheek snaffle with a peanut roller at the minute. He is generally all right, but can occasionally hold the bit quite heavy, but not all the time. I've looked at his mouth and found he has fleshy lips, quite thin bars in his mouth, and would say a low palate. What would you recommend? Thank you in advance. He also has a tendency to run his head during work. I've heard this can be numbness from the bridle, if not sure how true this is.
So this one is quite difficult. So if they've got quite fleshy lips, quite a big tongue, but they've got a low palate as well, that's sometimes when we actually need to see a picture to work out why that is. We need to then figure out is it tongue relief they're looking for, or is it palate relief they're looking for? So that's why we normally ask a series of questions about obviously they tried the full cheek, but then we'll ask them, what other bits have you actually tried? How did they go in that bit? How did you find that mouthpiece? And again, we'll work back from the process of elimination. But if you do want to DM us again, and we will get back to you, because we need to ask quite a few more questions to be able to get to the right answer for yourself, if that's okay. Sometimes it's not as simple as that will work. Sometimes it is, but that question isn't one of those that's as simple as that will work. And we want to do this right, and we've got a pretty good reputation for getting it right, but we ask loads of questions as well, because that's important to us, that we give you the right answer.
Okay, Elizabeth says, absolutely, we'll DM you. Can I ask what the account name is? It is at Expertbits on Instagram, and I think website is www.expertbits.co.uk.
It is, yeah.
See?
Look at you. You've come all prepared. I just got a pen and no paper.
Because I've been like that. I need a bit more. So it's ingrained in the brain. But yeah, and I have to say, guys, that the advice that I was given, that Lisa and Matt gave, is fantastic, and it's kind of the after service as well. So you guys emailed me afterwards and said, right, how's it going? As well, which was really, really nice.
Yeah, we love to hear how things are going. If you've got a problem, message us, ring us. We will get back to you. It sometimes takes a little bit, a couple of hours, 3, 4, 5 hours, but we do get back to you. It just sometimes takes, if we're outbitting, obviously we can't respond straight away, but we will, definitely get back to you. But like I say, some of them questions, my answer seemed a little bit vague, but like I said to you, we need to know more background. We need to know what else you've tried, what's worked, what's not worked. Do you have a picture sometimes we can look at? Do you have a little video we can see? And that makes it's not that one will be the right bit, because each horse is an individual, and we like to treat each horse as an individual, like we said before.
Definitely. Yeah, I would say, guys, just send a message, and lovely Lisa.
Yeah, please. If anybody does have any bits and inquiries at all, or would like us to go out and see their horse, we're based in East Yorkshire, but we can travel quite a way. We like a little road trip.
Epworth, thank you.
We're not far from Epworth. We're about 25 minutes from Epworth.
Oh, it's cracking. Amy will vouch for me on that. Cracking cross-country course at Epworth.
Yeah.
We do like it there. Brilliant. Thank you. I'm just conscious of time now. Thank you so much for giving up your time today. One thing I've got to ask you, that I ask everybody that's on the live talks, give me your best piece of advice. It can be on anything.
Yeah, well, it's not really horse this advice, but I have a motto that I try and live by, and somebody once told me it when I was trying to make a big decision, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I'm going back and forth on this decision, and this is the advice they told me, and I've tried to live my life by this ever since. I'm glad I did rather than I wish I had.
Love it. By that motto in my life. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Try it.
I'm glad and I often think, if I've got a decision to make, would I be glad that I've done it rather than wish that I had done it? Yes, I'm glad I did rather than I wish I had.
Fantastic. Absolutely love it. So no, thank you guys so much for tuning in again. Thank you, Lisa, for all your advice and just spending, thank you, Kelly, spending your time, because you were so kind to me to come onto this talk, and I really, really do appreciate it.
No, we've loved it. Thank you very much for asking us. We really appreciate it. And anybody we can help, please get in contact, and we will see and help as much as we can.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Stacey. Thanks, Lise. Thanks, Amy. I've just seen you all saying thank you.
Thank you.
of where you can contact the lovely Lisa and Matt as well, so that you can get all your written answers. So have a good evening, Pete, and thank you so much.